Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. Get yourself comfortable and prepare for some interesting stories. One of them is a story about an OP who got on the bus and felt really sick after chemo, and about a crazy woman who eventually got some jail time. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I do not want to insult your intelligence, because you most likely already know what EM and me stands for. But I should say that EK in this story stands for embarrassed kid, and OG stands for old gentleman, some 60-year-old guy. The kid was very polite and sorry, so this story isn't about him. Also, I'm translating this into English, so bear with me. A little backstory. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with a cancer of the nasal cavity, stage 2. The tumor was quite large, but thankfully benign. To get it removed, I first had to undergo aggressive chemotherapy to make it smaller. Thanks to the chemo, I had severe alopecia, hair loss, which made most of my hair, even my eyebrows and eyelashes, fall out. At some point, I had to go bald, but I wore a wig because I didn't want to look like a skinhead neo-Nazi. I'm 6'4" and pretty muscular, so I thought people would assume. So once after a long chemo session in the hospital, I took the bus home. There is only one bus that goes from the hospital to where I live, so I took that one, only to see it was absolutely packed. I felt like crap thanks to the chemo, so I asked a middle-aged dude to let me sit. He was very understanding and gave me his spot without complaining. If you're reading this, thanks bro. 2 stops later, enter EM. A lovely whale with a "I demand a parley with the CEO" type haircut and a 12-year-old kid. It took her roughly 5 seconds to see the bus was packed, start looking for a free spot, spot me, start marching, or in her case, trying to fit in the aisle between the seats while shoving others aside. To me, when I saw her, I knew I was screwed. She then stood next to me and decided to talk to me. This is the conversation that followed. EM: Hey, could you let my kid sit down? Me: You mean me? EM: Who else? Me: Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm on my way from the hospital and EM cut me off. So are we. Nonsense. The stop was a few kilometers away from the hospital. My boy had just broke his leg and we're coming straight from the ER. Her kid was standing next to her without any support, clearly embarrassed. Me: He's standing next to you completely fine. EM: Look here, boy. I'm 21 years old. My kid deserves to sit down. Me: Look, madam, I'm sorry, but I just got back from a chemo session in the hospital, and I need to sit down and rest. I then moved my wig a bit to let her see my bald head. EM then straight up started yelling in my face. EM: Stop making excuses and get off the freaking seat, you freaking skinhead piece of crap! At this point I was baffled. I didn't know what to say. The kid was trying to make his mother stop, and we had the attention of the whole bus. She then grabbed me and tried to yank me from my seat. I held on tight, thankfully, didn't fall off. Now, enter OG, my savior. OG: Will you shut the hell up, you dumb cow? EM: Who do you think you're talking to? OG with ice cold voice: Stop assaulting other passengers or I will be forced to step in. Also, every dumb idiot could see the dude has cancer. EM: No, he's a freaking skinhead. OG: He's got no eyebrows, you idiot. Seems like that really offended EM, because she spun around on the spot and threw a falcon punch in OG's face. I was shocked and in disbelief. The whole bus was flabbergasted, and the kid probably wished he'd never been born. OG then said something unbelievable, and a golden sweet karma moment followed. OG: Okay, that does it. Harassing passengers on the bus, physical assault against a passenger, and now assaulting an officer. "You're in deep trouble, lady." OG then pulled out a badge and told her to stay where she was. Then he pulled out his phone, called someone, and told her she was being arrested. I couldn't believe it. OG was a bloody cop. At this point, EM was white as a wall. The bus had just come to a stop, so she decided she'd make a run for it, but other passengers blocked her way. She then also got charged with resisting arrest thanks to this. 3 stops later, a police car was waiting for EM and EK. EK told me he was sorry for his mother's behavior, and I felt so sorry for the kid. He wasn't a bad child, but his mother was a hell spawn. OG then talked to me and asked me if I wanted to press charges, to which I gladly said yes. Took a statement and thankfully was kind enough to let me solve everything on the phone, so I didn't have to come to the police station for questioning. In the end, EM got some jail time. I think it was a few months, and some community service. I, in return, got a good story to tell and the sweet taste of instant karma. Right now I'm riding on the same bus home as I just got back from the hospital after a checkup, which reminded me of this. A friend who's sitting next to me told me I should post it here. He, as much as myself, also couldn't believe that such people exist, but it seems I proved it to him. I should also note that the surgery went well. I was declared cancer-free in November, and my hair is slowly returning. Also, I don't need to wear a wig anymore. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see that EM getting her share, especially after what happened to you. But really, how selfish can you get to pull someone who just went through a painful procedure, does not matter what, so that your perfectly fine son could sit down, even if, from what I understand, he was completely fine. Yet again, hope you're doing well. Glad to see you're coming back to who you were, physically. So a little backstory is in order. I have 2 young adult children living at home, ages 18 and 19. They both work and go to college. I trust my kids. I trust their decision-making skills. When they graduated high school and turned 18, new rules went into place. No curfew. Just call me and let me know if you're going to be out all night so I don't worry. You can call me at any time for a pickup, no questions asked. Just don't be stupid and drink and drive. Yes, your SO can sleep over or come over for the weekend. Just let me know what's going on. Pay small rent during the summer when you're working full-time, and pay your part of the car insurance. You have your chores, I have mine. We all work together. I tell them if they are being idiots and they listen. In turn, I listen to them. There is very little fighting or arguing in my house. This is their time to spread their wings and learn how to be a responsible adult and have me as a safety net. Lately, one of my kids' SO has been spending a lot of time over at my house. He is here pretty much all the time. 2 days ago, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered it. It's my daughter's boyfriend's mother. Me. Hello? EM. You need to tell my kid he isn't allowed over at your house anymore. Me. Who is this? EM. This is Tommy's mother. Me. I already knew where this was going. Oh, Tommy's mom. I have to say you have raised a great kid. He is always polite and respectful. In fact, EM. Look, I don't care what you think about my kid. He is never at home. He isn't spending any time with me. Me. Okay. There isn't much I can do about that. EM. Yes, there is. Tell him he can't come over to your house anymore. I want him home. And you set a bad example for my son. Your daughter has no curfew, and I am sick and tired of hearing how nice it is at your house. I miss him and I want him home. Me speaking very lowly and basically growling into the phone. Are you done yelling at me? I think I stunned her into silence. I will take that as a yes. Do you trust the way you raised your son? EM. What? Me. It's a simple question. Do you trust the way you raised your son? EM. Of course I do. What does that have to do with anything? Me. Do you trust him to make good decisions? EM. Yes. Yes, of course. She is starting to calm down now. Me. Mother to mother. I know things are not okay at your house right now. Her husband drinks a lot. I am trying to give your child a safe place when things are not okay at your house. She starts to cut me off at this point, but I won't let her. It's not your fault. He throws your son out for days at a time sometimes, doesn't he? EM. Yes. I can hear her choking back the tears. Me. Do you need someone to talk to? Would you like to go out for lunch? That way you can feel safer knowing whose house your son is at and that he is safe. EM. That would be okay. We were on the phone for an hour after that. What started out as an EM was just a scared woman feeling very, very alone. Sorry there wasn't any righteous retribution, but I think it turned out okay. I'm going to try and get 19-year-old Tommy's curfew changed from 10 p.m. to midnight, and maybe he could stay over for a weekend. No need to have some overdramatic climax. You helped restore my faith in humanity. Perfect example of not everything is what it seems. What you did probably went a massive way to rebuilding the relationship between the mother and son. That was obviously being torn apart, and hopefully building up the mother's strength and courage to get herself in a better place emotionally. Incredibly well done, and thank you. I saw this today and I can't stop laughing. I was traveling in my city metro. It wasn't that much crowded at the time, but all the seats were occupied. Still, you could freely stand without being bumped by a stranger. There was this kid sitting in the reserve seats, the ones for people with handicaps, pregnant women, and old people. Definitely not for moms of 2-year-olds. He was probably 14 or 15. I don't know. He is the hero of the story here. Then at one stop our EM comes in. She has this cute little child who is trying to keep up with his mom's pace. EM instantly sees our hero sitting at the reserve seat and just stares at him. I guess this was her way to make people automatically give away their seats or something. The kid didn't move though. This probably irked EM a lot, I guess, because she moved towards the kid with heavy steps. She comes near him, stop, and again does the stare. The kid doesn't budge. Then she starts screaming. If she didn't have the whole compartment's attention earlier, she sure had it now. She starts berating the kid for sitting in a reserved seat and not giving it for someone more deserving like a mother like herself with a young kid. I don't know what her logic was. The seats aren't reserved for them anyways. She just keeps shouting and screaming and tries to get others' opinions on it, and for a while people were on her side. Then the kid out of nowhere rolls the right side of his jeans up and detaches the artificial leg and keeps it in front of him. The look on her face was priceless. It looked like she was mortified and embarrassed at the same time. She just backed away silently and just got off at the next stop. I don't think that was her stop. I can understand why she wanted the seat, but there is no need to be passive-aggressive and then just outright aggressive. Surely she could just ask, "Do you mind if we have your seat?" He could answer, "Sorry, I really need to sit down because..." Then she apologizes and says she didn't realize and no one is embarrassed or uncomfortable. Brief backstory. Back in March, I and my partner bought a house. Big deal for us, and we were so glad we managed to pull this off, especially right before the pandemic got bad. It's a livable fixer-upper. The lady that lived here before bought it in '67 and was the only owner before us. She made no updates in that time, lol. It keeps us busy, and that's worked out really well being home so often. Now to the event with EM. In May, my big project was pulling out some nasty bushes that had taken over the huge chunk of the front side of the yard. It was hot, I was sweaty, and digging out roots and throwing branches. As I'm right in front of making a pretty drastic change to the yard, people notice. Most neighbors stop by and say a quick hello from a car and drive away, but not EM. EM pulls up in a shiny black Suburban from the opposite side of the road, parks the wrong way, and rolls down her window. I'd say she's in her 50s, 60s, great white bob haircut. I stand up and pause my music, The following conversation isn't exact, but pretty close as this conversation was just too entitled. EM. Hey, did you buy this house? Me. Yep, just moved in last month. EM. Did you know the family? Me. That sold it? Not really. We just got lucky they chose us, I guess. Trying to be nice, but kind of off-put, she's asked none of the typical neighbor questions. We made a great offer. EM. Yeah, my son really wanted this house. He grew up in this neighborhood, you know. Me. Oh darn, yeah, houses move fast right now. EM. He spent his whole life in this area. He really deserved to stay in the neighborhood, you know. Me. Yeah, that's too bad. Major, what the hell feelings now? EM. How much did you offer? Me, not about to tell her details. Over asking price. We were proactive. EM. Well, my son really wanted that house. Me, feeling quite awkward with this whole situation and just looking to shoo this lady along. Yeah, well, I'm sure more houses will go up for sale around here. EM. Well, that doesn't help him now, does it? He had his heart set on that house. I just exaggeratedly shrug and decide to resume my root cutting and try to give her the message. EM. You're probably flipping it. He would have loved it. Me. No we're not. We're staying long term. EM. Yeah, right. She doesn't leave. I'm wondering if I should go inside or something. She just keeps looking at me and expecting me to say something. I keep cutting at her root. EM. Is it just you, or did your family help you get it? Me getting pretty short in tone. My partner and I bought it together. EM. My grandkids would have loved the yard. A loved yard makes a house a home, you know. Me not looking up. Well, my dogs will love it, especially once I'm done. EM. Seriously? I just scoff, pull out my root, throw it on the pile. I feel her eyes watching me. Me. Really ready to be done. Well, have a good day. Then with a last glare and a "Ugh!" she speeds off, leaving quite an annoyed, bewildered me in the dirty glory, mulling over what the heck just happened. Did this freaking lady just try to guilt trip me because we bought a house her son wanted? Indeed, apparently. What the heck? Definitely the most unwelcoming interaction I've had since we've moved in, and I've not seen her since. How dare you not offer to give her precious boy your new home, and pay for all of his moving expenses and all the renovations? After all, he got good grades in school. Meanwhile, the son never even wanted it, and is happily closing on a house 3 towns over, so Mama Dearest can't visit 3 times a day. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm going to link it right here. The story's about OP who had to run away from his family, but later his brother decided to steal OP's car, and you won't gonna believe what happened to all of them next. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.